Courtney Williams has taken center stage. Courtney Williams, the all-star guard of the Minnesota Lynx, one half of the stud buds, address this entire Caitlin Clark racism situation. The racist fans, they are targeting the players. Oh, everybody is a victim. Courtney Williams didn't hold back on the situation and how the WNBA players should handle this thing going.
Picture this one interview, one brutally honest opinion, and suddenly the entire WNBA internet is acting like someone threw a basketball into a hornet's nest. Courtney Williams didn't tiptoe around the Caitlin Clark controversy. She grabbed it by the jersey and said exactly what was on her mind. Now fans are arguing, critics are scrambling, and social media is doing what it does best, completely losing its mind. The real story, though, is far bigger and far messier than anyone expected. Courtney Williams has never built a reputation around carefully choosing every word, and that is exactly why so many basketball fans stop and listen whenever she decides to speak. In a league where nearly every controversial topic is dissected through carefully crafted statements and polished, in Williams has consistently sounded like someone speaking the way she would inside a locker room.
This is sad. This is sad. The WNBA players, man, y'all keep showing us how petty and nasty and disgusting y'all really are. I know one thing, nobody better cry when the WNBA gets shut down. Nobody better cry. Y'all doing everything in your power to do. The All-Star rankings have officially come out. This is so nasty, y'all. I don't even believe what I'm looking at. All right, let's just pay attention to the top 3 names here. All right, for the guards, because we got to break this down here.
Rather than inside a public relations office, that authenticity once again became the center of attention as the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark, online abuse, and the WNBA's rapidly changing landscape continued to dominate. The debate itself has become far bigger than basketball. Every game involving Caitlin Clark now seems to generate another round of arguments, viral clips, and thousands of social media posts that quickly spiral into discussions about fan behavior. Sometimes the actual basketball almost feels like the side story. Instead of spending every day breaking down pick-and-roll coverage or three-point shooting, fans often find themselves watching the latest online controversy unfold before the next tip-off even arrives. That is exactly why Courtney Williams is. Comments resonated with so many people. Rather than diving into every accusation circulating online, she focused on something much simpler. Her message was that social media should not be allowed to control players' emotions or dictate how they approach their careers. In her view, the internet can become an unhealthy.
Apparently most Americans have not in the past. But there was an incident the other day between 2 teams, the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever. And the sensation of women's basketball is 6 feet tall, former Iowa College basketball sensation, Caitlin Clark. And here's the rub. She was playing this game and she was knocked down. 2 or 3 of the Phoenix Mercury team members kind of swarmed her.
Rather than inside a public relations office, that authenticity once again became the center of attention as the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark, online abuse, and the WNBA's rapidly changing landscape continued to dominate. The debate itself has become far bigger than basketball. Every game involving Caitlin Clark now seems to generate another round of arguments, viral clips, and thousands of social media posts that quickly spiral into discussions about fan behavior. Sometimes the actual basketball almost feels like the side story. Instead of spending every day breaking down pick-and-roll coverage or three-point shooting, fans often find themselves watching the latest online controversy unfold before the next tip-off even arrives. That is exactly why Courtney Williams is. Comments resonated with so many people. Rather than diving into every accusation circulating online, she focused on something much simpler. Her message was that social media should not be allowed to control players' emotions or dictate how they approach their careers. In her view, the internet can become an unhealthy.
Guys, today, Caitlin Clark named as an all-star starter, but that's not the story here. That's not the surprise here. The story is that the WNBA players ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard in the league. One more time. The WNBA players ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard in the league. And the media ranked Caitlin Clark as the 3rd best guard in the league, not only behind Paige Beckers, but
place when every anonymous comment is treated as if it carries equal weight to the opinions of real people in everyday life. Williams explained that athletes have tools available to them that many people often forget exist. If someone crosses the line with harassment or abuse, block the account, mute the conversation, and continue living your life. Her point was not that abusive comments are acceptable. Instead, she argued that allowing anonymous strangers hiding behind profile pictures to dominate your mental energy only gives those people exactly what they wanted in the first place. It was classic Courtney Williams. The message was straightforward, practical, and delivered without much concern for whether everyone would agree with it. She did not spend several minutes trying to satisfy every side of an emotional debate. She simply expressed how she believes professional athletes should.
And she's done it outwardly. She has not hidden where she stands or anything like that. And she let it be known what these WNBA players need to be doing and how they need to be addressing Caitlin Clark and this social media rampage that is going on.
Approach the nonstop noise that comes with modern sports. Her comments immediately became another talking point because the subject they touched is impossible to separate from Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA. Ever since Clark entered the league, every storyline seems to expand beyond basketball itself. Spectacular passes become debates about media coverage. Hard fouls become national conversations. Television ratings become arguments about respect. Even ordinary post-game interviews can generate millions of views. If Clark's name appears in the headline, that level of attention is almost unprecedented in women's professional basketball. Clark entered the league after one of the most remarkable college careers ever seen, carrying an audience that followed her from sold-out college arenas into professional basketball. Fans who had never watched a WNBA game suddenly knew team schedules, television networks, and player statistics.
WNBA voting was released, and you got to see where all of the players ranked in terms of the fan vote, the media vote, and the player vote. And there was some interesting things here about Caitlin Clark. Obviously, you know, one of the more popular players. She was number 2 in the fan rank behind Paige Beckers. She was number 3 in the media rank. But amongst the players, she was ranked 11th amongst guards in the WNBA. They believe 10 other guards in the W are better than her.
Arena attendance climbed. Television audiences increased dramatically. Merchandise disappeared from shelves almost as quickly as it arrived. For any sports league, that kind of momentum is incredibly valuable. IT represents years of potential growth arriving almost overnight. At the same time, it also creates challenges that cannot be ignored. Veteran players who spent years helping build the league naturally wanted recognition for everything they had accomplished before Clark ever played her first professional game. New fans often viewed Clark as the central attraction, while longtime followers wanted broader appreciation for the stars who had carried the sport for decades. That combination created an environment where every disagreement became larger than it otherwise might have been. Basketball discussions blended together with conversations about media narratives.
Public perception.
To me, overall, officiating has been a universal issue this year. And that's not the goal of any league, but this is the reality. And when you think about the imperative to call more fouls, we're seeing the highest scoring season ever in WNBA history. That's largely because they're calling more fouls, right? Games are no longer 2 hours, they're 2.5 hours long. So you're seeing that there's an imperative to call more fouls, but there's still a lack of situational awareness or a lack of control of the game by the refs. You can call fouls, but is it dictating how one game is played from the other? Because you can see one game where one is...
Fan expectations, online behavior, and every comment was analyzed. Every interview produced new headlines. Every social media post became Another opportunity for people to argue. Williams appeared to suggest that players cannot afford to become consumed by those arguments. Professional athletes already deal with pressure from coaches, teammates, travel schedules, injuries, and constant public evaluation. Adding anonymous online criticism into that equation only creates another unnecessary burden. Her remarks also reflected something many athletes across every major sport have acknowledged over the years. Social media provides unprecedented access between fans and players, but it also gives complete strangers direct access to athletes every hour of every day. Some of those interactions are supportive and inspiring. Others are thoughtful criticisms.
Variety of personalities.
Okay. Olivia Miles, number 5, and Caitlin Clark, number 2. All right, cool. The media, they ranked Olivia Miles number 1. They ranked Paige Beckers number 2, and they ranked Caitlin Clark number 3. All right, cool, whatever. I don't really agree with it, but cool. I know the Indiana Fever have the worst record out of these 3 names right here. Olivia Miles number 1, then it's Paige, then it's Clark. So whatever. Look at the players. The players ranked Paige number 1. They ranked Olivia Miles number 3. And they rank Caitlin Clark number.
Unfortunately, some are offensive, abusive, or completely detached from reality. Williams' solution was remarkably uncomplicated. She essentially argued that athletes should stop handing so much emotional power to people they have never met. If an account exists only to provoke anger or spread insults, remove it from your timeline and move forward. Life continues whether one anonymous profile approves of your last game or not. Those comments naturally fed into the larger discussion surrounding Caitlin Clark, because Clark herself has repeatedly found her name connected to controversies that extend well beyond her own words or actions. Her popularity has attracted millions of passionate supporters. But like virtually every superstar in modern sports, it has also attracted individuals whose behavior crosses acceptable boundaries. That distinction often becomes lost during heated online debates. A massive fan base inevitably
all could achieve.
She almost got a knee in the head, and one player, Alicia Thomas, was sort of resting on her and then took her fist and pressed right onto her jugular vein or throat and her neck. If that had happened just out in public, public
contains a wide variety. Race, officiating, player treatment, and the future of the league. Many people simply enjoy watching Clark's remarkable shooting range and playmaking ability. Others spend their time analyzing statistics and celebrating victories. Then there are individuals who post offensive or abusive content that has nothing to do with basketball. Those voices frequently receive disproportionate attention because controversy spreads much faster than ordinary conversation. Williams' broader point appeared to be that athletes cannot realistically control every anonymous account using a player's name or image. Online, what they can control is their own response. From her perspective, spending endless energy engaging with trolls only allows the cycle to continue, while Williams approached the issue from the perspective of player mentality. Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan examined the situation from a completely different angle.
To the WNBA.
Let's keep it a bean, G. Yeah. Caitlin Clark's peers have to humble Caitlin Clark because they believe society has propelled Caitlin Clark above what she deserves. So if Caitlin Clark has been elevated beyond where she should have been elevated, then someone is taking it upon themselves, and the athletes, it appears, are taking it upon themselves to bring Caitlin Clark back down to earth. So if league and fan voting believe that she's third, then our peers, we're going to say that she's 11th, because realistically, she's
Brennan has spent decades covering women's basketball, dating back to the earliest years of the WNBA, giving her a unique perspective on just how extraordinary Caitlin Clark's rise has been. During a recent interview, Brennan argued that Clark's arrival represented something far larger than the debut of another talented rookie. She described it as a cultural moment that had been building throughout Clark's record-breaking college career. Long before Clark played her first professional game, crowds were already lining up hours in advance just to watch her compete. Games routinely sold out. Television audiences reached numbers Brennan noted that many of those scenes resembled the excitement normally associated with major concerts or championship events rather than regular season basketball games. Fans waited outside arenas in freezing temperatures